Hi, welcome back. This is Deborah Peters. Welcome to my podcast, Neuro Science for Success, and this new series, Journey of the Mastery of Your Mind, with my co-host, Richard Daniel Curtis from Great Britain. Richard, it's such a pleasure to have you join me again today, and I'm really thrilled about the material that we're going to be covering. But before we jump into that, I understand you had a really high-level radio interview this week. Tell us about that.
Wow. Well, thank you very much. Basically, I was contacted by a radio station, a community radio station over here in the UK, to basically just have 2 hours of talking to the host and choosing whatever music I wanted. And it was fantastic. It was an absolutely wonderful experience. I took sweets with me, I took books with me, and we had some wonderful cheesy tunes, did some dancing in the booth. It was just absolutely fantastic. And at the time we weren't on air, I was just giving pieces of advice to the presenters, yeah, as always happens whenever I'm doing help. But getting parents of teenagers to think, to get their heads in the right place for parenting teens. And invariably, whatever happens is that whilst the song's playing, that the hosts always end up talking to me, just picking my brains and just taking that. And it's the thing that happens once you find your love, once you find your passion. People want to talk to you about it. People are energized by hearing you talk about it.
It's so true, and congratulations. I think that's really phenomenal. Maybe this would be a good time to just let our viewers know that you and I are working on a project for parents and teens. And as we continue to develop this, it's going to be a retreat style, parents, teens. You know when you're a teenager and you just kind of want mom and dad to disappear and not be telling you how to live your life. But as a parent, you're crazy because you're losing control, or what's perceived as being control over the relationship you have with your child. And so there's this constant conflict about what that really is. And so we're creating a phenomenal program called Ditch the Parents. I'm really excited to work with you on that.
It's going to be absolutely amazing, and it's going to be life-changing for the people, for the people that come along. It's going to be absolutely life-changing. And if you're listening to this and thinking, oh, actually, that's kind of a little bit like what you or someone you know are going through, then please get them to reach out to us, because actually now is a really good time to kind of just be thinking about getting on board with this. I mean, we're not planning anything for another couple of months, but it's a really good time to reach out to us, because actually what we're looking at is, once we run the first one, then we're looking at hosting them in various different locations. It's going to be really cool.
It's very cool and much needed, because I can relate. I can think back really easily to my teenage years, and just, I was very self-sufficient and incredibly resilient, and I could roll with life. And my mother didn't trust that process, and it became this huge angst between us, which took a long time to heal. So, it doesn't have to be that way, as you and I both know. And so, yeah, definitely reach out to us. And we're excited. We're pulling it all together, and we're going to have some amazing sponsors involved with us. And of course, we're going to have phenomenal teenagers and their parents. And
definitely. Let's remind everyone right at the outset, what's your Twitter handle?
NEI4Change.
And it's the number 4, isn't it?
The number 4, yes.
NEI4Change.
Yeah.
And mine is Dad and Expert.
So DADANDEXPERT, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Fantastic. Yeah, and tweet us out while you're watching now. It would be phenomenal to have you tweet us out. And definitely thank you for subscribing to this blog on YouTube. And just know that real soon we're going to dump a bunch of episodes into iTunes, into the podcast, so that you can listen to it while you're driving to work or taking the tube or whatever the case may be, because we're both sides of the pond. And thank you for all the nice comments that we've been getting on YouTube. It's amazing what I'm experiencing. People are saying, thank you so much. I needed those positive words today. And so there we've done it, Richard. We've achieved our goal. We've made a difference already.
Virtual high five.
High five. Yeah, fantastic. So we were going to talk about some pretty, oh, and before we move on, I just wanted to share with everyone that my first book is about to land, like it's any day now. So if you would like a free copy, I'm going to do a free copies to all of our tribe initially for a limited time. So if you'd like a free copy, just leave a comment here on the vlog or tweet over and let me know, and we'll get you set up with a free copy. Okay, so
It is an absolutely amazing book, guys. I'm busy reading it at the moment. Deborah sent through one of our drafts this morning to me. I've been busy reading through it, and my goodness me, there's some amazing stuff, guys, that's really going to change your way of thinking about what you do, and also the way that you think. It's absolutely huge. So honestly, it's worth having.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. And speaking of changing the way you think, today's conversation is about rejection, right? I mean, who doesn't get rejected? It exists everywhere. And speaking of resiliency, how you roll with that rejection and how you allow it to impact you can make or break you, right?
Absolutely. I mean, it happened to me. Happened to me last week, and we applied for some funding from the local health service in Southampton over here. And the idea was that we applied for this funding in order to be able to train early years, so preschools and nurseries and kindergartens, some techniques about behaviour. Now they rejected that. They were oversubscribed. They had too many things to choose from, and we weren't one of the ones that was successful. Now, honestly, I got this email, and my stomach went, and I went, oh no, what, how am I going to get this out there? And within 5 minutes, I'd come up with the idea of a whole new marketing campaign to go out to the nurseries, to the preschools themselves, and get them involved. And actually, I'm now, as a result, having some really good conversations with some of the settings, for children under the age of 5 in Southampton. And it's only because, actually, I kind of got that rejection. I felt my stomach go. I felt the feeling. I was like, no, I'm sorry. I'm not letting this happen. I'm going to be in control of my reaction. I'm not going to let my body control the way that I feel. I'm not going to sit here and mull over this and stew over this. So the first thing I did was I got rid of the email out of my inbox, got it filed away so I couldn't see it anymore. So out of sight, out of mind. And began working on the copy of the emails that I was going to send out to the 80 odd settings in Southampton.
Good for you. So that's a point you make that I'd like to expand on, is not letting your body react. And so what happens is, we're human beings. We're sensory-based people. We experience life through our senses. And so we feel things, hear things, smell things, taste things. We self-talk things, all of these different senses are going on all the time, and it's how we take in life. So imagine when someone rejects something that you're offering, like in this case, you can take that on as being a negative, in which case that's going to impact your senses. So it's not so much that your body reacts to it, it's that your body takes it on. And because we are wired, we're hardwired to expand, we're hardwired to regenerate, we're hardwired to grow and achieve more and seek more, the perception of rejection goes against the nature of that in the cellular structure of your body. So that's the feeling that you're getting, that it's not your body rejecting it, it's that you're taking it on as a negative. When in actuality, what you did is you reframed it and you turned it into a positive, and then boom, you came up with a whole new idea, which is probably going to be better than this little box you would have had to fit in with this little bit of funding.
Definitely, and this is where you need to be aware of. You know, it's the thing that you and I talk about all the time. You know, we have two emotional systems going on in our body. We've got the hormones that are released in our brain in response to something, and we've got the hormones released in our body. Now, what happens is, and they proved this. They did some research. It's about 15 years old now, but what they looked at was they looked at the chemical release of hormones in the body, and that can be up to 6 seconds quicker than the
Yeah,
chemical release in your brain.
yeah,
So, so if you go back a few millennia, you know, to when we were, you know, running away from saber-toothed tigers, your body needed to be ready to run away when your brain decided it's time to run away,
right.
and that's biologically why that happens.
It's the ramp up, right?
Sorry.
It's the ramp up. Like you've got to be ready.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Now, this is really important because once you understand it, then you start to see it, and you start to see it in so many different things. You know, I often talk about anger. Anger's a huge one where actually anger starts in your hands or your feet. People start to feel anger in their hands and their feet. And when I'm talking to people about their emotions, I don't ask what they're thinking. I don't ask how they're feeling in their head. I ask how their body's feeling because that's where you feel it first. And so, actually, when you're faced with rejection, your body's going to feel something before your brain kicks in.
Right.
And the problem is, so many people get caught up with going with the feeling that their body's giving them and not choosing to reject that. The brain can choose to reject that and to overcome it and to tell the body how to react.
It's so powerful because it brings up the concept of choice. You can choose how you react to anything. You know, from a neuroscience perspective, the reason it starts in your hands and your feet is because those are energy points. Like that's where we transmit energy from. Our feet are chakras. There's a chakra in the bottom of our feet and in our hands, and that's where energy flows from and to. So we're picking up and we're releasing energy through those points. Now, I like to unpack this and kind of, so that's a chemical process, but what about a belief system or a paradigm within the psyche around this? You know, we can get rejected all the time, like in traffic. You know, we can get rejected by a lover. We can get rejected on a business deal. If you're in sales, oh my God, can you get rejected in sales or what? So
Yeah.
learning to see what's really behind that process of rejection. And so you can never control the response or the reaction of other people, but you can look at how you relate to that response. Like, for instance, you know, if let's say you have a lover that breaks up with you, or a lover that doesn't show up in the relationship, you could look at yourself as being rejected by that lover, which is a horrible experience to have for anybody.
Yeah.
Or look at the situation and say, you know, maybe this isn't even about me. Maybe it's just about where they're at, and there's the energy difference between us is just too broad and they can't hang. Or if you even wanted to go further, you could say, well, you know, on a subconscious level, on a deeper level, what am I really projecting onto this lover? Am I projecting lack of worthiness? Am I rejecting fear of commitment? Like projecting, not rejecting, sorry. Am I projecting fear of commitment? So there's always that opportunity to be accountable to what you're putting out. And I would hypothesize that perhaps the reason that didn't come through on a deep level is because you knew in some fashion that was going to hold you back.
Yeah, and you know, it's one of the examples where actually you can end up being beholden to people. It's one of the reasons why actually I'm really glad that I don't have a job. I'm not on that hamster wheel anymore, because actually I'm not beholden to anyone. And this is part and parcel of, you know, one of the things. Have I told you the story about my car being scratched?
Please do.
Have I not? Have I not told you this? So the other day, I went out to my car. My car gets me around. I travel the UK in my car. It's really comfortable. I spent a lot of money for the comfort, because I could sit in there for like 6 hours at a time sometimes. Certainly yesterday, I was sat in the driving seat for 6.5 hours. Obviously I had breaks along the way, just to point out. But the other day I went out, there was a scratch on my car, in the front corner of my car. Now, inside, again, I felt my body react really angrily. I could feel myself go. But what I did straight away was actually I recorded a gratitude session. Yeah, and I just recorded I think it was about 2.5 minutes of reasons why I was thankful.
Yeah. Yeah. And finding the silver lining.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah. Gratitude, gratitude turns nothing into something and turns something into more. It
yeah,
is the most powerful tool. And what I've learned about the energy of gratitude over, my lifetime is that, so gratitude, if you look on the emotional scale, so gratitude is here, appreciation is here. So gratitude has inherent in it, you're grateful for something because it could be worse.
yeah,
Appreciation has inherent in it that all is well.
yeah,
So I've been on this path now of getting my clients in, especially in business. It's like, okay, maybe you lost the deal. You can be grateful that it wasn't worse, but there could be an appreciation for something better.
yeah.
And that's really, how to get yourself out of this feeling of rejection. Because inherent in the feeling of rejection, I think, is like there's something wrong with me,
Yeah.
or I'm not good enough, or I need to be better, I need to be
About
perfect, right?
self-harm.
This thing about needing to be perfect is like, I think it's an international disease, is when we need to eradicate that, because you're perfect just the way you are. And you deserve to be happy and thrive just for being you. Just for
Exactly.
showing up on the planet.
I have on my computer screen, and I recommend everyone listening to this vlog does this. On the edge of my computer screen, I've got post-it notes, because I have two screens, so I have a couple of post-it notes, and they say, "You are enough."
Yeah. I am enough. Just being me.
Yeah.
Just
At
being.
this moment in time, whatever stress you're facing, whatever rejection you're facing, whatever overwhelm you're facing, actually, you are enough.
That's right. And so I like to say this about that, and that is that when you're facing whatever it is you're facing, a lot of people will anchor that back in, that they haven't gone beyond an old problem or an old pattern.
Mm.
And so I want you to reframe that with yourself, that if you're facing something that's difficult or some challenge, instead of saying, oh my God, here I go again, or browbeating yourself and putting, self-deprecation, putting yourself down inside your self-talk, instead say, oh, so this is on its way out. And I'm actually clearing this. Cool. Then I'm done. I'm done with it.
It's so important. It's so important. It's one of the things that, because I'm not sure if we've ever discussed this, but I've written 3 books on gratitude. It's one of the things that I get people to use gratitude for, because actually you're letting go of something. Rejection is a chance to let go of something that for whatever reason wasn't right in your life.
And it may not, and Richard, it may not be the person.
Yes.
It just be your belief system around whatever that is. If it's succeeding in sales, if it's being promoted, if it's growing your company, if it's your lover, if it's your family, it doesn't mean you have to throw the baby out with the bathwater and get rid of the person. See, we talked about this in an earlier podcast about this or that thinking, black or white thinking, all that sort of duality stuff. And it doesn't mean you have to throw out the person. It just means you're releasing a way of being with yourself. And as you release that relationship that you're in with that person, do a 180 just like that.
Mm.
You know, this is a really important point to make, because I think when people are going through this process of self-growth, sometimes they have a tendency to be like, okay, you know, if this is how this person's going to be, then I'm out. It's like, well, you're just going to learn about you through another person that's like that until you get you.
And
Right?
I think it's really important that we stress, for the sake of our listeners, it's really important that we stress that actually, as you are on your journey through personal growth, you are going to face rejection. Some of your friends, some of your family are going to reject you. That's
Right.
not you. That's to do with them and their belief system, and their, you know, sometimes it could be jealousy, sometimes it could be insecurity, sometimes it dread, you know, what your journey drags up things for them and all the rest of it. Now, don't make that rejection about you. We're so, as humans, we're so self-obsessed. We are selfish. Humans are really selfish, and the risk is that you end up making it about you, and you take that rejection personally. But I promise you, I know you have. I know that I've done it. Everyone that I've seen on who has been on their own personal journey of growth has faced rejection from people who they've known for much of their life.
Always, because, you know, the crab theory, right?
Yeah.
So the crab theory is there's all these crabs in the tank, and one crab is making his way out of the tank. The other crabs reach up and pull him back in. And, you know, I had to really learn this big time, because I kept moving away from my family. It kept growing and expanding. And actually, when I moved to another country, I found out later that the discussion was, yeah, we give her 3 years and she'll be back.
Yeah.
And, you know, thank goodness I didn't hear it when I first moved, because it probably would have like broken my heart. But when I did hear it, I'm like, wow, good thing I left, because I had already shifted out of that kind of crab theory thinking. And so your life, as you expand you and you grow your consciousness, you probably are going to leave people behind, but doesn't mean you don't love them. It
Yeah.
just, for now, you probably can't hang. And until you get yourself to a place where even if you are around them and they are negative, it doesn't affect you. It's like you're like, you just see it for what it is. It's just a limiting belief that they've been carrying around that they're not even aware of yet. And so therefore, you just don't let it get inside, you know? Like, may the force be with you. May the force be with you. And I have a feeling that that's probably our time.
Yes. Yeah. I'm afraid it is. Afraid it is. But one thing, certainly for me, one key takeaway is that actually everyone listening to this, when you're facing rejection, when you're facing some kind of overwhelming emotion, just remember that you are enough.
Absolutely. You're enough. You're loved. You're lovable. And you don't need any sort of external validation ever. You know, just like, let's get off that topic and just get down to the truth. You're enough. Just being who you are.
Exactly. Right. So until next time.
Cheerio.
Bye-bye.